So back when everyone was in their 50s, the Catholic Church was like this uber powerful organization that basically controlled like everything. They're like the closest thing you can get to the Illuminati controlling like every major government. So since the Catholic Church was so powerful, because it was like the only real government institution left after the fall of Rome. And so like the Pope was like basically revered as like a god, except if he was like a god, that wouldn't make any sense because it would destroy the entire premise of Christianity.
Hey, are you a piece of shit, but you still want to get salvation? Well, now you can, with indulgences. No longer do you have to care about silly things like morals and being a good person. The real way to get into heaven is to pay a fuck ton of money because fuck poor people. Sure, the Bible may say shit like, don't be a greedy asshole, but nobody's allowed to read it anyway because you know what? We wrote it in a language that nobody speaks.
So this practice made Martin Luther King Jr. so angry that he actually traveled back in time to stop the entire thing from happening and say F you to the Catholic Church. Then he nailed 95 theses on the door. So Luther made a new religion because nobody knew you could really do that at that time, and he was assisted by the advent of such things like the printing press, so you can spread the Bible to the mainstream. You see, Luther really liked the Bible because science really didn't exist in his time, so ideas such as a man ripping out his own limb so he could produce a female was common. So around the same time, Henry the Q Brood of 512 was like, marriage sucks, I want a divorce. And then the Pope was like, no. And he's like, I'm going to create my own religion so I can get a divorce. So making new versions of Christianity was like all the rage at this time. So John Calvin made his own religion, creatively named Calvinism. So most Christians believed in like a chill God who was cool with whatever because free will. But Calvin believed in like a slightly upset God and predestination. I never really understood predestination and why people believe it because it's like if you already know you're going to heaven or HE double hockey sticks, why even bother being a good person? What, did you actually think I was going to say hell? This is a Christian YouTube show? Why the fuck would I use that fucking language here? So the old and out-of-style Catholic Church had to get hip and jiggy with it by making their own Reformation. So then all the clergy had like a giant group therapy session where they had to acknowledge their problems and come clean. So then they created things like the Jesuits, so they could tell everyone there's another Catholic Church that needs your help, and they've marked the coordinates on your map. The Jesuits also traveled to places like East Asia where they converted tens of people to Jesus worship. Although Catholicism was being made great again, all was not well in the land of the Pale people. It was basically like the Middle East as well, because new religious wars were being fought like every other day. So pieces of paper with text on them, such as the Edict of Nantes in France and the Treaty of Westphalia at the end of the 30 Years' War, basically allowed religious tolerance in most of Europe. The religious conflicts in England were played out through the Henry 4x2 daughters, Elizabeth and Mary. So the older one, Queen Mary, was like, I was a Catholic. And she said, anyone who follows my dad's stupid-ass divorce church is a heretic, and I'm gonna burn you all. And then she murdered a bunch of Protestants, because, yeah. Then Queen Elizabeth was like, hey, maybe if I don't murder everyone who slightly disagrees with me, I'll be a good ruler. And she did that. So Europe had like some crazy years experimenting with different ideas. But they settled down and they established some new churches and allowed religious tolerance in pretty much every place except Northern Ireland, because nothing ever good happens in Ireland. If you're a loyal comrade, leave a like and subscribe for more of these low-quality history videos.